powered by Broadnetconcepts.
I was given the topic, harnessing your creativity and uniqueness as a photographer. And when I got the topic, the first thing that struck my heart was, why was I given this topic? And the next answer I gave myself was, I know a lot of people talks about my works that there are a lot of element of creativity in it. So probably that was why they felt, okay, let him talk about this creativity thing in photography. So about me, you already know about me already. I studied physics and electronics in school in OLUWATOSIN University, which I'm proud to say. And photography, I learned photography from my mom, my late mom, who is popularly known in Ibadan as Bola Photo. And did anybody know Bola Photo? And also, I'm actually a versatile photographer. I'm based here in Ibadan and in Lagos. Ibadan studio was created in 2015, and Lagos studio was created in 2019. Now, what is photography to me? Photography to me is a way of life. That is how I see photography. You know, I'm sure you will grow to an extent in life that you can relate the meaning of what you do, or give that thing that you do a meaning yourself. So to me, photography has been a way of life. Now, the next slide, please. Sorry, I will need someone there, please. Now, every image you see in these slides were taken by me. And it was so funny that when I was preparing the material, every point I created, I could find one or two images that goes along with it. I took this image in Bayelsa while I was serving many years ago. So I call this dream. Now, there's a place I'm going to, and I want you to follow me, please. Dream. Now, yesterday when I was walking about, I saw this table. And when I saw this table, it took me back to those days in this jogger when I put my Gateway laptop on this table, and I put my IT printer under this table, and I put it, okay, this is the smaller hall. I put it at the entrance of this hall, and I take pictures of people, of guests coming in, and I quickly print, and I sell. I'm not the photographer. We call it papapa, but my own papapa was branded, kind of. It wasn't the papapa that you rush to the lab, print. No. I have a printer. I have a package where I put the picture, which was branded Bola Photo. Now, when I saw the table yesterday, I was like, wow, this table still exists. You know, it took me back to that year. But do you know that that year I was dreaming? At a point, I was dreaming. I want to have the best studio. I want to be reckoned with in photography. I want to do this. I was dreaming. And in the course of the dream, I met someone. And this is someone that now fashioned or probably gave me that boosted my confidence that your dream truly is worth chasing. And that is photonomy. You see, this man, I will keep saying it, me, I love him so much and will forever be my mentor. And I like to share it. When you have a mentor, what are you looking for from the mentor? Are you running after the money? Or only help me, only for me camera? No, that shouldn't be the reason. And I remember that day I met him. I noticed he always come from Lagos to shoot the major weddings in Ibadan. And I will be here doing my pa. So I saw him and I walked up to him. And we spoke for like 15 minutes, and that 15 minutes has been with me forever. And after those period, I think roughly 8 years after, or 10 years after, we now met again online. He never even knew I was the one LYPIX. Now, the rest is story. We are here together today. Now, let me go back to this table. That was a time I was dreaming. Now, if you will dream, that means your imagination, you are imagining, if there's a word like that. When you dream, I want to have the best studio. In your head, you will think, I want my studio to be like this. You can see the clearer picture of what you are dreaming about. And that now took me back to the topic that talks about this creativity. How powerful is your imagination? Because for you to be able to create, you need to see first. You need to imagine it first. You need to think about it first. There are some you will see. There are some that it's already there. All you just need to do is quickly see it with your eyes and capture. And that's why most times when they ask me, LYPIX, what kind of camera do you use? What kind of lens do you use? I don't like arguing. This one is good. No. It's my eyes. Because it is what I see that I will capture. It is what I can imagine that I will capture. So how strong is your imagination? You want to be creative. You really want to be creative with your images. How strong is your imagination? That's my number one point. So let's go on. So let's break it down. What is creativity? I googled this. Creativity is the use of imagination or original ideas to create something. Inventiveness, it is a phenomenon whereby something somehow new and somehow valuable is formed. Now, if you look at this image, it was formed. I will quickly tell you the story. I was shooting a pre-wedding shoot at Elegunshi, and it was already late. And while we were shooting, I keep shooting. And when shooting, a horse just passed. Quickly, I just called the guy. Please, can I use your horse? Our guy is 500 naira. Don't worry, I will give you. Then I quickly saw the moon at the back. So everything happened in a split seconds. Then I could quickly think about, okay, let me do it this way. Let the horse face them. Now, that was an imagination that I brought to life. I was in that position at that time. I was able to see and I was able to imagine. How powerful is your imagination? Now, we're talking about uniqueness. You want your creativity to be so unique. So what does uniqueness really mean? The quality of being unlike anything else of its kind, or of being solitary in type or characteristics, owing to its physical and behavioral uniqueness. The quality of being unequaled, incomparable, or unusual. Now, your uniqueness is not something you build in a day. It's a process. It's a process. You keep processing it. Now, there are a lot of photonymy is already there. I don't even look for the logo. When I see his image, I know it's photonymy. And a lot like that. I have a friend also, Big H. You don't even need to see his logo. You will know. So what is that uniqueness? Your uniqueness might not be in form of your image, like the image you create. It might be probably in form of how you create your image. Not totally, oh, I took the portrait. This is the normal way to take a portrait. But you can have your uniqueness in a way that when people see it, they know, oh, it is so that takes pictures like this. I know when people see my works, you don't need to look for the logo. You will know. I took this image during pandemic. We were home and I was so frustrated. I've not taken picture for so long. So I challenged myself and I started taking picture each day. And my daughter was my model. And okay, don't let me, I'll still talk more about that. So I started creating. So I think this was the second image I created about education. It was all over. Now, I created this at home. I told her to wear a school uniform. I imagined it and I created it. How powerful is your imagination? So let's go on, please. Now, we have few ways to enhance your creativity. Different ways that you can enhance your creativity. This, I took it was a pre-wedding shoot. It was in the studio. And I'm always attracted to lines, shape, and shadows. I love them so much. And I just imagine, okay, having the shadow of the guy at the back and, let her connect with the shadow. And that was how I created this. Technicality, I can explain later. How I created my lights, the V-flat. I used two lights. One ad light that created the shadow in the background, and also the key light on the subject itself. So, but let's go on. Few ways to enhance your creativity. One, never stop thinking about photos. Never stop. You want to be a photographer. If you really want to, all glory to God, I've been doing photography for 18 years. I started 18. I'll be starting 18 years in April because I started during the days of analog, before digital photography came in. But personally, I've been running my business for over 10 years. My brand. So now, how have you soaked yourself into photography? Now, whether your camera is in your hand or whether your camera is in your hand or not conduct mental exercises to find subjects, mentally framed images and think through, how will you capture the subject? Keeping photography constantly in mind is important in training yourself to think creatively. If your mind is primed for creative thought, creativity will have an easier time striking you. Now, you need to soak yourself into this. Photography is my life. I don't see myself doing other things. I remember years ago, there would definitely be ups and downs. My studio was boggled, a lot was happening, and I feel like, man, I think I need to look for another job. And thank God, this is why it's always good for you to have mentors. And thank God, when I told the photo name that he told me something, and I will tell you today to encourage you. He said, when you were in school, how did you pay your school fees? Or how did you pay your school fees? I said, through photography, sir. He said, okay. When you finished and you went to serve for your NYSC, how did you, the money you made, where did you make it? I said, photography. When you got married, your studio that you have, how did you do it? Where did you get the money from? I said, photography. You got married, where? Photography. You have a daughter, where? When you did the naming and everything, I said, photography. Now, let's now assume photography is human. You are now leaving photography and you now want to go for another thing. Ṣé o mọ̀ wípé iṣẹ́ máa ń jowú ni? That was the word. And that word liberated me. Do you see the reason why you need a mentor? And I said to myself, okay, I will keep at it. So, going back to the point, never stop thinking about photos. Something happened during this event. Like I said each point, each picture you can relate. You know, the event was going on. It was first dance. And all of a sudden, the light went off. Pam. At that point, I'm sure you, as a creative, you will go blank. Because you feel like, right? Right? But because I can't stop thinking about photography. I can't stop thinking about photos. The next thing I saw the silhouette. Like I said, shadows, I'm a lover of shadow. Anything black in my image, I love it so much. So immediately I just, silhouette. I just called their attention. Please, all these things happen within 2 minutes. It wasn't even up to 2 minutes because it's one mad hotel on the island. So quickly they brought out, they changed over. But where am I going to? Quickly I saw it and I took it. Now it is mine today. What helped me? Because I couldn't stop thinking about photos. I just want to create. I just want to take pictures. Are we following me? I just want to take pictures. If truly this is a job, I'm born to be a photographer. Personally, I'm born to be a photographer. And that's why I don't see myself doing any other thing else. A lot of people have told me, I do video now. I have a lot of videographers that God has helped me to help in the industry. But it's just not my thing. So let's go on. The next point. Embrace your mistakes and chance. Now, when it comes to creativity has no bounds. At times, you might do nonsense and you feel it's nonsense. And that nonsense become a sense. Are you all following me? So, embrace your mistake. Don't be sad. It's still my daughter. I took it during pandemic. Don't be sad that, I made a mistake. I don't like the way I took this image. No. Embrace it. You don't even know, maybe the image you are looking at as a bad image will eventually be your best image. So embrace your mistake. It's okay for chance or mistakes to bring something new to your attention. Always take a second look at your mistakes and see if it presents something new to the scene that perhaps you hadn't thought to try. Not every mistake is a creative epiphany, but you will never have one if you never look. I remember olden days, during the days of analog, you dare not take a blurry picture. You dare not. But do you know now, we use blurry, we use a shutter drag for effects. Am I making sense? But those days, you dare not. Kò sharp ke. Òun wájà nìyẹn. Mọ̀mísí mi á sọ fún ẹ pé, kí ló ṣe? A ní kó má yí kíní kúrò ní ibi. Má jẹ́ kó wọ ẹgbọ̀n 160. Ṣoré lè yí 5.6 tó bá ti wà nulẹ̀, tó bá ti wà ń ta 8 or 11. You know, she wasn't learned, but that was how she was taught. Later I was the one that now made her understand that mommy aperture lele in shorter speed. Because there was a cafe in Cocoa House then, Cocoa Dome. So I used to go there, try to learn, read more. I was challenged to start reading about photography. I was challenged. I don't want to go into that story. I was challenged, but I took the challenge positively. I didn't see it as, the person that did it to me, he was in my studio in Lagos. And he was saying, Ayo, I'm proud of you. I know it can't be 10 minutes more. It can't. You gave me 40 minutes now. Okay, so number 3, break the rules. Rules are great as they provide a roadmap of how things can be done. I don't want to start reading this, but break the rules. We have rules in photography. You have the rule of thirds, you have your leading lines and all. But the ability for you to break those rules will give you that uniqueness you are looking for. But you cannot break the rules if you don't understand the rules. So you need to understand those rules. Understand the rule first. There was a day, I think I was trying to look at all my images that I didn't even obey rules. I noticed I was obeying virtually all the rules, because it's part of me already. And I still have some images that I did not obey. So you need to understand the rules so you can, break it. Now, number 4, don't be afraid to try something new. Don't be afraid to try something new. If you look at my daughter here, this was the first image we created during the pandemic. I used her mom's scarf. I used a phone touch. So the phone touch I used on the scarf. So the scarf has this line. So I created it on her. So I told her to hold her teddy bear and do as if she's afraid. She's a good actress. So don't be afraid. It's just like we being afraid of the pandemic, the virus then. But that's what I'm saying. Don't be afraid to try something new. In fact, don't be afraid to make mistake. Don't be afraid. Never. Don't be afraid. Always try to do it. Don't be afraid. Now, number 5, extract yourself. Now, what do I mean by extract yourself? At times we as creatives, we go blank at times. We have creative blocks at times. And I'm sure Larry Esho can bear me witness. At times you can just go blank. So at times there can be creative blocks. So what do? Normally what I do most times, I go to maybe art gallery to just, free my mind, to look other people's work. And at times you might just need to go to a new environment. And that was why I brought this. It was a pre-wedding shoot. This is Matt Max. I covered his wedding years back. And we did village. We went to a village. So you can just create something new. You can extract yourself and go to places that you can free your mind. That, your mind can be freed. And when you see things, okay, don't let me go, it's another point. But you can remove yourself from familiar routine or location. Taking time to be away from the things that normally fill your day is a great way to obtain freedom for your mind to wander. Distraction-free time allows for new thoughts and ideas to surface. And most importantly, it allows you to shape them into actionable projects. Do we understand that point? Okay. So find inspiration. Okay, I think I've said this in the previous. Find inspiration. How do you find inspiration? Go to gallery, visit exhibitions, immerse yourself in the nature and also embrace the work of others, which is very important. Check people's job, embrace it. Not that you are embracing it to copy them. But see, the way I've soaked myself into images, I just look. It's just like, I just look, I soak myself into it. I know it's there, it's stuck, and I can make use of it any day, anytime. The day you will use it, you might not know. But just keep soaking yourself to find those inspirations. This image was taken, it was a pre-wedding shoot. I just saw the leading lines and I decided, I saw the shadow because it was hard light. So I saw the shadow on the floor and that was it. So when our minds are introduced to new techniques or ways of seeing, our mind's eye begins to expand its view to build our creative thoughts. 7, be sensitive to things or objects around you. This that I'm saying is very, very important. Always take constant effort to pay attention to things around you, moments and objects. This will always help your creativity. Now, in the next slide, I will now explain. Please, next slide. Now, something happened while I was taking one of these images. This image in particular, that's Adeyemo. Is Adeyemo here? Oh, okay. He approached me and he was like, birthday picture me. And I was like, okay, no problem. Well, come, I'll be around. And he was in the studio and we were shooting. At first, I was trying double exposure. I was able to get that. Then after, I was struggling. You know, I just wanted to create something. It's not probably I want to show off, but I just want, because it's his birthday. So I want that memory to linger forever in his heart. So I was like, and at a point, I was struggling. And I remember the next thing I did, I paused. You know, I was with my camera and I paused. And I said, Holy Spirit, take control. Just open my eyes. That was what I said. And almost immediately, I just had "Bra" on the floor. The mirror broke. I think one of my boys fell it from where we placed it, and it broke. Bra. Immediately it broke. I was like, you know, can't you see? Pack it, Joe. Go and pack it. So immediately I said, go and pack it. Next thing, I just look at it like, no, don't pack, leave it. I want to do something with it. Then this was what we did. Now, back to what I said now. Be sensitive to things around you. Always be sensitive. And another thing that will help you as creatives, always learn to share your images with your colleagues. I do that a lot. I remember after taking this picture, and I went back to Lagos, and I was with my friends, and I showed them. And it was like, wow, LYPIX is mad. But if you had tried it this way, it will make sense again. That thing that I said, I've held it. Because that's the only way you can improve. Never see yourself like you are there. You are not there yet. If a man over 50, photo can still be lying on the floor taking picture. So who are you? My mom took picture throughout till she died. So who are you not to take pictures? So then, the second image, I have, you know, this is Adetong. She sings, and I felt, okay, I want to do something. So I had it in mind that they should bring a plate, a disc plate. But I really don't know what I want to use it for. But they brought it, and this was what we got. So at times, you know, I've imagined it. I wanted something, an element of music in a picture. And that was why I requested for this. So, in conclusion, I'll do this in conclusion. You don't know where opportunity may come. And that will take me to this testimony. I told you during the pandemic, I was creating images of my daughter, creating images every day. And one of the images T.Y. Bello saw, she posted. From there, Guardian newspaper contacted me. They featured the job. And after that, a lot was happening. But one key thing happened. Channels TV, for a whole week, they were showing. But one key thing happened. This image gave my daughter an education scholarship. Gave my daughter this particular image. MPG Farm. They gave her education scholarship. Now, tell me, if I did not create, or I allowed the pandemic to kill or to cage my creativity, will that opportunity come? So as a creatives, don't allow situation to cage you as a photographer, as a creatives. No matter the situation you find yourself, no matter where you find yourself, keep creating. Next slide. Keep what? Keep creating. We kept on creating. We did not stop. Even though she changed her for me later. I said, Alaya, it's in me, yeah, picture more. I mean, my daughter. This, I was just thinking about, you said we should stay at home. How about those without shelter? How about those that doesn't have place to sleep? So I took her to the streets. Now, I didn't have a modifier. I didn't have anything with me to take this picture. I only use a torchlight of a vigilante. This is where it comes to you being open-minded. Let when your imagination is strong, nothing can stop you. Nothing in this world can stop you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. You can follow us on Instagram, LYPIX Photography, LYPIX Photography. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I believe that LYPIX deserves a louder round of applause. I gave him 10 more minutes, and he said it was too short. But guess what? It's exactly 10 minutes. You see life. All right, a quick breakdown. One point that really touched me in that presentation was when he said, you cannot break rules you do not understand. And I think this is a principle that applies to every sphere of life. So I'm holding on to that. Action point is at all times we should ask ourselves how we get inspiration. So you need to know how you get inspired. And I wrote down something quickly. Don't copy, get inspired. Another round of applause for OLUWATOSIN AYOOLA, Creative Director, LYPIX Photography, for that lovely one. I'll take 2 questions, just 2 questions, and I'll take them at the same time. So, 1, 2. Please come forward. Just your name and straight to your question. Thank you, sir.
Good day, everybody. I want to congratulate the speaker for a job well done. While he was speaking, he was talking about dreams. And I remember what Chief MKO Abiola said in 1993 about dreams. That those who cannot dream dreams cannot see visions. That struck my mind. The second one, when he talked about his mother, there is this proverb that says, Adìyẹ tó kú máa ń jàgbàdo. Today, wherever the mama is, I thank God for her because her seed is doing exploits. I thank you, everybody.
Good morning, everyone. Kayode Afolabi is my name. I have 2 questions. The first question is, yesterday when Jide Odukoya came, he said something, which LYPIX also said the same thing this morning. He said, it is not all about cameras. He said, Jide said, is the brain behind the camera. Now, this man this morning said, it's not about the camera, it's the eyes behind the camera, that he used his eyes to capture what is captured. Now, my question is, are you saying we should not be looking for good cameras to use as a photographer? One. The second question, are you saying we should use any camera that comes to our way? Then number two question is now, out of the few ways to embrace your creativity that you just mentioned this morning, the third rule says break the rules, break rules. Now, you now said you cannot break the rules without knowing those rules. Can we have the rules in photography? When I was in school, I studied accounting. Now, the golden rule of account is every debit entry must have a corresponding credit entry. Now, can you give us the rules in photography too? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The first question was about your eyes. That is camera important. Yeah, I will tell you that, well, let me be honest with you. Camera is important and it is not important. What is more important is your eyes and your brain, because your brain will process what you imagined and your eyes will see what you want to see. I don't know if you are following me. Now, let me now tell you. Recently, I sold my landscapes. These are landscape images I've taken. There is one I took 14 years ago with ordinary rebel. I remember when I was taking that picture in school, my friends were making jest of me. Baba Badon, and I was taking, it was the rainy season just started. So those butterflies were all over, the beautiful flowers and all. So I just went to pick my rebel. Ordinary rebel is still in my office. I was now looking for butterflies. So I took one. they were just making jest of me. So, and the camera was in rebel, crop sensor, ordinary rebel, old. But I still used it. And guess what? I sold the image and I made millions of naira on it. This image I've taken years back with just rebel. So I'm trying to prove you wrong that it is not about the camera. Fine, it's good. When you get a better camera, your work becomes easier, you enjoy your images more. But you can't kill yourself. Life is a process. Start somewhere. See, there's an image I took with that same rebel. It was a snail crawling. This snail, anytime, is an image that always speaks to me all the time. Especially when things were so tough. And it will always remind me that, AY, slowly but surely, you will get there. Are you using rebel? You will use mirrorless. You will use full frame. So, but what you have now, embrace it, understand it, love it. Because if you don't love your gears, you can't create things with it. And if you don't understand your gear, but you can't say, because I want to, this camera is not good, I'm not creating. Because things are happening around you that can turn to money for you. So, was I able to answer that? Okay, so the second question was that you have to attend a master class for that. Yes, because we're talking about rules in photography. We have a lot. There are a lot of rules. I mentioned maybe 2 or 3. I mentioned rule of third. I mentioned your leading lines. I mentioned there's your fraction between your aperture and your shutter speed. So there are a lot of rules. So if you really want to understand those rules, I don't think tomorrow, I know we're having a workshop, Canon masterclass tomorrow, but it's a masterclass.
Powered by Broadnetconcepts.